All right, so we're coming back from the weekend. I'm sure a lot of things happened, and so Miss G has put it all together, and she's here. She shared the gossip with us. Good evening.
Good evening to you, Israelite. How are you doing?
I'm well.
Okay.
How come you mentioned my full name like that? Israelite.
Easy. I miss you. Anyway, you're welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. So, a lot of people in the entertainment industry have been waiting to hear Madam Catherine Apeku speak. She's the minister designates for tourism, arts, and culture. Finally, she's spoken.
Yeah. We had her, and we actually played that interview. Earlier on in the bulletin. And so she says she's confident.
She's confident. Wait to see what happens at vetting this week.
Yep.
So that's about it. So let's move on to another story. Ghana Music Week has been launched, but Obo is optimistic. I don't know if the other people who belong to the industry or the musician union are as optimistic as he is. But here's what he had to say at the launch.
Anytime we talk about musicians, I like to explain a bit further. I mean, musicians are part of the music industry, which is a very, very broad industry that has different players. You know, they have singers, performers, actors, and so on and so forth. Again, for a music week, we are not looking at just A-list artists. We are looking at the whole industry as a whole. And so if you watch our typical drawing line today, we have some underground artists, we have some younger musicians like Kontakra, then we have the giants like Gasmila, the giants like Ben Bracco, Delabotri, who is a traditional world music artist. And so we try as much as possible to bring the entire music industry to the forefront and not just level or limited to only the popular acts who are making the bars or running the charts in the country. And so that's how it is. So again, it's quite relevant to a lot of these artists like that I've mentioned, because they understand what the kind of relationship and the kind of projection they get from the music week. Some musicians.
Right. So for a thing like this, you'd expect that the creative arts minister will be heavily involved and be supporting. But now that we don't have a substantive one, how are they going about it? Do you know?
Well, that's the next thing we're coming to. How is Obo and his team going about things like this? It's appalling to know that, or to see that a music week launch, you don't get the big stars there. He's saying it's not about the big stars, but look, if he had them there, it would have, lifted his image as a president of the
but
union.
Let's roll back to last year when they launched it. Did it attract the big stars you're talking about?
Well, it's never attracted a lot of big stars, because a lot of people think that Obo has failed. This is his second term as president of the musician union. In his first term, he had a lot of support from the industry players, that's the musicians as well. And it was because they thought that he would do better than Dinah Hobson, than Sidi Kubuari, but it looks like he's doing worse, in their words. So a lot of them were not there. Here's Ben Bracco, who was invited there. He said 3 days before the event was when he was called. And he shares how disappointed he was with Obo's administration.
Please, let's be candid. Look at this show. Look, nobody even heard about it. And this is the Musicians Union organizing this. You understand? At the launch, you see how empty it is. When they do ordinary shows here, you see how full it is. It's because they're not letting the right people do the right things, and they're not recognizing what are their priorities. They're not pushing the right things. What the hell is this? It's a kind of joke. I'm telling you.
Have you benefited from this celebration since it's mentioned 5 years ago?
No, this is the first time I've even been invited. And I tell you what, I don't want to talk too much, but it seems like I'm criticizing my own. But only 3 days ago, I was informed that I'm doing this.
But if we don't criticize our own, how can we make it right?
Well, you see, you have a very strong point there. That's one reason I like you so much.
That's why I bear your name.
But seriously, we have to start thinking, you know. We have to know who the hell we are and where we're going. If we don't define ourselves, if we take our definition from outsiders, then we are fools.
Okay.
So that's how
those are some pretty strong words.
He even had to be forced out of him. Ben Bracco, on a normal day, is a very, very nice person. You should have a Jedubile Ambule talk about this. You see how bad it is. And I don't know if Oboh and his team are taking clues from the things that people say about their administration, because it looks like gradually everybody that is important to the union is pulling off.
Yeah,
he started with Ochiame Kwame as one of his team members. A+ was in his team. All of them have all of a sudden shifted from the team. So it's just Oboh. And people have criticized that the much money you get, you were given a building for free. Go look at the musical office. Go look at how it looks. And this is an administration that you've run for 2 good terms. And you say that taking the Ghana Music Week outside Ghana gives more credit to Ghanaians. And I kept asking IB when he was telling us about today, that how many people have come from China to invite our musicians up there because we went to do our music week out there? How many people have come from all the countries we've gone with our music week? I think we should face the fact. I don't know what people think, but let's move on to some other story. Now, last week...
You seem to be extremely passionate about this.
I am passionate about, and I'm going to sit down, look through this, and put out a whole, documentary about the Musician Union of Ghana. Just like I did for the Actors Guild. I think that somebody needs to see the reality. Now, let's talk about the VGMA chairperson, or I think he's a member of the board, George Quay, who is a PRO for Charterhouse as well. Last week on his show, he made an allegation that gospel musicians are the ones who approach the board.
Apparently, he's apologized.
He's apologized, but that doesn't solve the problem, does it? The musicians are not amused about it.
Did he retract?
Well, he says that, he spoke in his capacity as George Quay, and his words do not reflect the board. And so because of that...
So the words, he still stands by those words?
Partially, from the apology, it doesn't look like... He says, okay, I'm sorry, I take my words back. But, you can't say things like that, and come and say, you're sorry, you're taking back the words. I'm sure somebody said, look, you're representing the board, you're denting the image of the board. But the thing is it true or not? That's the biggest thing. But the musicians are not amused at all.
I still stick with my idea that we in the gospel fraternities to do our own awards and leave theirs for them. It is their private entity. If they want to do it, it's fine. They should go ahead. If they decide to give us some, we will take it. But we also have to get investors who will do gospel music awards. I still insist we need it.
You are here and you are witnessing what is going on here. Whatever we does, it comes from within. So I agree with her. I think, for me, they're looking for a way to push the gospel music aside. So it is better we organize it ourselves, and then I think it will be nice.
As a matter of fact, I've received about 7 awards from VGMA. I've never paid any bribe. I think all over the world, gospel musicians are not part of the main awards that they do. And most of these awards are done separately. And I believe if we come up with it, like gospel music having their own awards night, and then other music genres too are having their own. I think it's going to be it's very good.
I heard the comments, and again read that he has apologized for what they said. So it means that it has robbed or just taken away all that he said. The churches should help us. Our bishops, our prophets, our pastors and reverend ministers should help. But we are the largest population, and if the Christian body would decide to come together and institute an award for us, I think that it will take away all these rumors, murmuring, backbiting, and all that away. So I am in support of her suggestion.